Hmm. Consider for a moment. What if many individuals were right? We hear about a Big Bang. We hear about a steady state. We hear about cyclic universes. What if many of our observations lead us to be like, looks like there's a Big Bang? Maybe there was a kaboom. All I'm saying is, if we look at Jen's painting right here, very lovely thing. This is essentially a representation of the complement of the hyperbolic figure eight knot. Basically, you take the knot, it flows there. It, basically, if you project this into R3, this is kind of what it's going to look like. Again, this is an artist rendition. I think it's very beautiful. But if we do have a cyclic universe, let's say you see all those space-time diagrams, and they kind of, I don't know, they kind of come out like this and it expands. I'm like, well, what if it folded in on itself to form the Great Sphere? I'm just saying if we have mapped out about 93 billion light years, and it's reasonably about 10 to the 32 meters, so about 15 quadrillion light years. Basically, it takes about 380 billion light years of observation to equate out to about 1 point on a sphere. Shout out to Professor Keating. I learned that when he was on the Lex Friedman podcast. But okay, what may something like this look like? What would we look like if we had, let's say, a kaboom that may continue as our observable cosmos recycle? Now, again, how could we have infinity and be finite? Well, we have the boundaries of the Planck scale. That seems to be a very interesting thing. Perhaps it plays a fundamental role. I'm just saying. But we go over here. I'm not saying anime explains everything, but it helps me conceptualize things. All right, this gentleman goes away. Oh, Naruto. What's going on? Oh, they're fighting the Ten Tails. This is towards the end of Naruto Shippuden. Oh, what's that? Oh, a whole bunch of mass and or energy? It's about to boom. Oh, there's a big barrier there too. It goes boom! Kaboom! Oh, look at that. Oh, it's fluctuating. Oh, look at that. That was the power of the five Kage. It basically blew itself up. So, all I'm saying is, imagine a whole bunch of supermassive black holes being confined to a point where, I don't know, maybe the energy is going to release. Because if we believe in the laws of thermodynamics, if we are in a quote unquote closed system, basically you can achieve a Cardano machine. If energy is neither created nor destroyed, we also believe that of information. Is there an equivalence? I went to Wolfram Alpha, and apparently there's a you can convert I think bytes to joules, which is very interesting. I'm just saying most of that thing uses that as I think it's magnetic permeability. Comes out to be about a joule. I find that very interesting. But what else are we talking about here? Oh, well, here's the claim. The claim, just to pitch it a little bit more, is essentially this. This action right here, which we can actually, basically, this gives rise to this. So, how does that happen? We did this the other day, but I find reiterating actually help. It actually helps keep my mind going because we're going into something a little bit. It's kind of related. My mind's been jumping around. I've been highly stimulated. But young Naruto. Oh, look at that action.
He's channeling chakra again, like before.
Now I see.
What's
He
going
made a
on with
clone
his
to gather
hand?
up his chakra. Ingenious.
Now, I'm just saying this I find fascinating. Just look at what's going on with young Naruto's hands. Here we go.
No, this is different.
It's a twirly, swirly action. Oh, look at what it gives rise to. Okay, we've done enough. But I'm just saying, I see things like that, and I I see things like this. I'm just saying.
Okay. So this thing is fundamentally partitioning into a 1/3 twist and a 2/3 twist. I'll call them little twist and big twist, so we can go along. But that's here at the volume boundary, at the volume of the hyperlog figuring on itself. Okay, so that twisting, that division twisting.
It's a volume we can define. It's like 2.029, something like that. There's a whole bunch of beautiful mathematics that actually derive it. It's very interesting.
Is just inherently built into how all the things are connecting. There's a twist factor, right? And lots of things squared. But right here, the twists themselves are canceling in intersection. Okay. And here we have a sphere under triple periodic division. And here we have a hypersphere under dimensional division, or the dimensions of the hypersphere under the dimensions of it.
The hypersphere, Thad says. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Action of our rotation. So our rotational actions are basically projecting the construction you can get of the maximal hypersphere, right? And that's externally what it looks like. This is what internally looks like. Okay, how much of that tracked?
Yeah. Basically,
glimmers. Feel like I'm walking through Plato's
rotations,
cave and just little glimmers coming, and
is the
basically the whole thing is you've got a twisting action, some form of articulation, and it ends up closing in upon itself. Yes, words there, but where are we going? Yes, we've seen Naruto. Okay, we're taking what I say is not a sidetrack, but it's going to seem like a complete sidetrack. We're going to pop over here to Godel's Incompleteness Theorem. This is the thing that says, essentially, to my understanding, if you got a set of axioms, whatever realm you're trying to calculate, you're never going to be able to figure it out because you're always going to you essentially have to be an outside observer, to the best of my knowledge. You can't be within the system. Now, if you know there's a limit to the amount that you can actually go recursively back, what if you isolate that? What if we were able to get the best approximation? The first incompleteness theorem states that no consistent system of axioms whose theorems can be listed by an effective procedure, i.e. algorithm, is capable of proving all truths about the arithmetic of natural numbers. It's a natural number. The natural numbers are those numbers used in counting and ordering. So basically in normal numbers. For any such consistent formal system, there will always be statements about natural numbers that are true, but that are unprovable within the system. Basically, it sounds like you need to be outside. The second incompleteness theorem is an extension of the first, shows the system cannot demonstrate its own consistency. Basically, we go through this and they continue onward here, but essentially they're postulating it via piano arithmetic. The first theory of first order piano arithmetic seems to be consistent. Assuming this is indeed the case, note it has an infinite but recursively innumerable set of axioms that can encode enough arithmetic for the hypothesis of the incompleteness theorem. Thus, by the first incompleteness theorem, piano arithmetic is not complete. The theorem gives an explicit example of a statement of arithmetic that is neither provable nor disprovable in piano arithmetic. Moreover, this statement is true in the usual model. In addition, no effectively axiomized consistent extension of piano arithmetic can be complete. We go over to the piano axioms. In mathematical logic, the piano axioms, also known as the Decaying piano axioms or the piano postulates, are axioms for the natural numbers presented by the 19th century Italian mathematician Piano. My apologies. These axioms have been used nearly unchanged in a number of mathematical investigations, including research into fundamental questions of whether number theory is consistent and complete. We need to formalize arithmetic. The need to formalize arithmetic was not well appreciated until the work of Hermann Grossman. So in the 1860s, facts in arithmetic could be derived from more basic facts about successor operation and induction. Charles Fisk could provide an axiomatic of natural number arithmetic. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get to the fun stuff here. Where is it? I think it was... Basically, they go down through different levels of logic, but we end up going here. True arithmetic. In mathematical logic, true arithmetic is a set of all true first-order statements about the arithmetic of natural numbers. This is a theory associated with the Standard Model. It's a very interesting name for a model. Just saying. Of the Peano axioms in the language of the first order. Peano axioms. Using what you know to prove what you know. True arithmetic is occasionally called Skolem arithmetic, though this term usually refers to a different theory of natural numbers with multiplication. Oh. Things seem to get more complex the more factors you add. How many factors do we need? These are interesting questions. The signature of Peano arithmetic includes addition, multiplication, and successor function symbols. Oh, so your standard arithmetic operators. Yeah, I believe they're essentially reflections of themselves. We continue. The equality and less than relation symbols and a constant symbol for 0. That's very interesting. The well-formed formulas of the language of first order arithmetic are built up from these symbols together with the logical symbols in the usual manner of first order logic. Basically predicate logic. We use it a lot, apparently. The structure, N, is defined to be a model of Peano arithmetic as follows. The domain of discourse is the set of N natural numbers. The symbol 0 is interpreted as the number 0. I'm just saying our interpretations of things makes a difference. The function symbols are interpreted as the usual arithmetic operations on N, the natural set of numbers. The equality and less than relation symbols are interpreted as the usual equality in order relation to N. The structure is known as the standard model or intended interpretation of first order logic. Now, what does any of this have to do with anything? Not gonna lie, I jumped around a lot, but all I'm saying, and actually a switch. What is a switch? The stuff that does a thing. I don't know. In some framework, perhaps you could view it as a harmonic oscillator, because that's essentially the simplest thing. Something acting upon something else. I'm just saying that hypothetically, even let's consider just your standard system. Does that just mean we need a new system? Does that mean that if we can isolate whatever factor, would we not be able to determine the additional system? I'm just saying, depending on how you want to look at the functionality and what's actually going on, a circle can go on forever. I'm just saying, if you just replace maybe infinity with quote unquote eternal, if it keeps going, can't that account for your infinity? Maybe we just need a finite amount of stuff and things. Maybe it's a whole lot. And then when you get onto the scales, I'm just saying, look at blank mass compared to us. It's about, I don't know, 10 to the 8, maybe 10 to the 9, maybe 10 to the 10, depending on how many kilograms you are, depending on what else is going on. Pi is important. Pi is very important. That's actually a really good approximation. I always wondered, why did they teach us this in school? I'm like, curvature's a thing. I'm just saying I'm going to be interested at some of the analysis from the James Webb Space Telescope. I'm thinking things might look a little larger than we were expecting. Basically, our current observable universe is like 10 to the 26 meters. I'm going to claim, I'm going to back up that. I'm going to say with a capital C. Probably roughly closer to about 10 to the 32 meters. It's about 15 quadrillion light years. It actually kind of adds up to a beautiful number. I love that. I think I did a video on it before, just out of pure speculation, but I'm thinking it's actually true. And again, curvature, this, that, and the other thing. Depending on how you want to go, it's one of the greatest mysteries. Why is this a thing? Well, we've axiomatized our stuff and things a certain way, and if we can define its combinatorics, I'm just like, what if we will to derive what some may say is a bit of a supersymmetry from asymmetry? I'm just saying the basic function of essentially the hyperbolic figure 8 knots action. If we just look right here, this thing right here, it's, again, shout out to Professor Sagerman, it's got a lot of symmetry, but there's at least one where it seems to be a little bit off. It seems to be a little bit off. If we can parameterize 5 blank boundaries with that, I think that explains a lot. I'm saying if it's fractional, doesn't that mean it's potentially computationally irreducible if it just keeps on going on and on and on in some particular series? Just because it may have infinite complexity per se, just happens to be Turing complete. If it can keep on going and going, given an infinite amount of time, I think that's pretty rad. But that's all we got right now. But I'm hesitating. I started to go down a rabbit hole, and then I got completely lost with a lot of this other stuff for the past year, Fish. So it is what it is. But Mark, I think circles will explain a lot, especially the things that they do if you consider rotation. But that's all I got for right now. Just putting that out there. I'm just gonna make a very bold claim with a capital C. Maybe I'm wrong. If something like it happens to be correct, I think that would be pretty frickin' sweet. But peace out, everybody. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, you gotta remember. Do. What rolls downstairs over and bears rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's log. Logs are important. Shout out again to Jen for our fine little doodle at the beginning there. Peace out, everybody.
Have you guys checked out the Memes of Destruction's channel? He's an interesting dude. I like him.